Torian called me fat.
Okay, I guess you're restarting it. I don't want to restart. I want to get through this just like I wanted to get through these movies, especially the last one. Now, this was a recommendation from Nirvana, right?
Yes.
Nirvana was one of our viewers. So, want to give the people what they want. So we went ahead and we watched it. And I was looking at myself, by the way, I got sty, cup on my nose, hair's got a messed up haircut. I'm looking like absolute shit. I feel like I frequently say that in videos, but this time it's definitely true. Putting it out there. Got a mess in the background, by the way, too.
Oh.
It's been a mess. But anyway, so I guess kind of reluctant. I mean, I'm gonna give my honest opinion, but I feel like a lot of people actually liked it more than what we did, and I'm pretty sure I know Nirvana. He probably really enjoyed this, just because most of the time if you ask somebody to review something like that, you're doing it because it's something that you enjoy and you want them to like it as well. But it's not all bad, but it's definitely
like 75% bad.
Yeah, I'm gonna let her do a lot of the talking for this one, just because I feel like she followed the plot better, and at a certain point, I kind of just checked out a little bit. But so we are doing all three movies. We're gonna breeze through the first two, just because this one is probably what everybody's really talking about right now. The third one anyway. But so for the first,
why don't we start? Why don't we start by just doing a brief, like good or bad on all three, and then going back and talk about individually why it was good or bad.
Okay, first one, not as bad as the third one, but not good. Second one, better than the first and better than the third. It's the best one out of all of them. Was it good? It was a lot closer to good than the other two. I think that's the best way to put it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
And then the last one was absolutely our least favorite.
The last one was, which is a real shame too, because as I've said, I really like that time period. I think it's naturally creepy, right? But they just really just shit the bed with it. To me. Hey, I look taller than you, even though we're actually like the same height. Thanks for filling it. So anyway, so for the first one, I don't think you went and made any notes, but I think we were pretty.
I think I have everything remembered.
So I have first on my notes. It was pretty weird. The black kid.
The pedophilia.
Yeah, it was pedophilia. That's what it says on my notes. Pedophilia girl with the black kid. The way that she develops like an interest towards him. Like you could tell he had a crush on her, which it's what it is, but you didn't expect her to go in and act on it. Apparently, I've heard some people say that, oh well, in the story they're actually like just a year apart. But
it doesn't seem that way in the movie.
Yeah, she seems much older.
They look like 17 and like 13.
Yeah, exactly. So it's very strange that scene was very uncomfortable. And like, what are we doing here? Like, I thought at one point, like, is she possessed by the thing? Is that what's going on? And that's why she's doing this? Because, otherwise it was just very strange.
Yes, it was super cringy. And we both, like, when the scene came on, we were like,
when's this going to stop? But no, it kind of kept going. I guess they didn't, like, have sex, right? I guess I'm under the impression he probably just felt her up and kissed her.
I think he just felt her up. They said first base. I think second base is filling up. I think they just kissed, but still, it was just
still very strange. And I made the point to her, like, imagine if he was a female and that was a male. That would be like, probably people would be talking about it even
like, don't watch it because they're disgusting.
Yeah, it would have never even happened. It would have been talked about a lot more. But whatever. We just kind of, it's one of those things where it was like, it's very strange to see. And then number two, the acting from the two main leads for pretty much the whole thing.
The lesbians.
It was
Sam
it
and
was not good. I don't care.
Dina. They were.
Yeah. That was. They weren't. Listen. So I've seen. They're not horrible actors. I've seen horrible, which is my mom and my grandma. They watch soap operas during the day. I've seen soap opera acting. It's not that bad. It makes the cut, I guess, for just. But it's not good, right? It's not good. That's all. That's all I can say. I'm usually not somebody who can like pick up on really. I can't pick up on pretty good acting. I don't know what I'm saying, but like the way she does her scrunching of the nose, the black girl specifically, and just and the white one, Dina, right? Dina.
No, that was Sam. Because remember they were saying Sam. We thought it was a dude at first, and then when she came out, she was like Sam, and it was a girl, and we were like, oh.
Yeah, that's something else I was gonna talk about, but yeah, Sam is so dull. She's like duller than Kristen Stewart on the level of acting. She's like, I told her she's like the equivalent to like a human cracker, And some people are just like that, right? But it's just not something that you're trying to entice people to see the two main interests, and everything. It's just not something interesting to watch. She's dull as hell. Dina's a little bit better, but not by much. The music was really good throughout the whole thing, pretty much. A lot of good songs I like. I heard some people complaining like, "Oh, this song wasn't out at the time period and this and that," but I'm like, if it's close enough, and I can't really tell unless you're just being too picky. But music, as I've said in other reviews,
they got time periods all wrong, which we'll talk about later anyway. So that's not even a fair thing to say.
But I would say the music was a little bit nitpicky of a complaint from other people. But I enjoyed a good bit of it. That can really elevate it, even though it's not really like something that's too hard to do, right? It's just, but I like that they took the time to put in some good music in there for the different periods. At least with the first two. And then I put in the first one, I like the contrast that you can see on the bus ride specifically. I picked up on this, but it was cool to see like the transition from their part, Sunnyville, and to Shadyville, like just even the buildings.
Shadyville, okay.
Yeah, I like that whole conflict, like where they have it nicer
like
in
these
ways, and they have it less nice. It was a cool contrast between them, and built up some tension that you can kind of, I guess relate to in some things, with life, because it is like that with some people. They just have it a lot better, some people have it a lot worse, So I thought that was kind of cool to see. And then let's see, so she kind of touched on this, the fake out with the gays, the gay characters. I guess it's all right. I'm not. Do we even have to say I'm not homophobic? I'm not homophobic. That's not what it is. It's not that they were gay that bothered me. It's how much them being gay had to be an object of the story. Like if you want to just do it and it's just there, it's different. But whenever you draw such attention to it, is when it becomes annoying. Right?
It's like they were reminding you every 5 minutes that they were gay.
Well, yeah, so, but specifically with the fake out in the beginning where it was like, oh, her name's Sam, and you just assume it's a dude, and then they show it, and it's
right,
a girl,
like it would have been,
got you.
It would have been a lot more normal if they would have just said, yeah, her girlfriend, like, okay, she's gay, but the fact that they went through this whole long process of
just
surprising you that she was gay, like it was going to be a big deal or something, like it wouldn't have,
you
made it a big deal.
You thought it was a guy, what's wrong with you? You got to get with the times, man. That's what it felt like. I don't know if she was like a lesbian in the book either. I feel like not. The way things go these days, I'm leaning towards not, but I don't know. Maybe she is. And if she is, that's fine. But like I said, just make it less of a big deal if you're going to do it. Don't make it whatever. And then there were some good kills in there for the first one. Pretty much all throughout, some of the kills and the gore were very good.
That's what I was going to say. Throughout all of them, the gore surprised me because I didn't. We went in with the expectation of like, I don't know, kind of a cheap teenage
horror. But it is rated R, so it makes sense. That's why they would up the notch.
Well, there was some fucking in there too, so. Yeah. But yeah, the gore, I was happy with the gore. But that's something that I was just kind of confused on. Like, if it.
How it would be kind of tame in other spots, but then it would show the gore and it'd be like, wow, so that's the stuff I really liked. I never really had a complaint with the gore in any of it, but I know for specifically, since we're just talking about the first movie, the two main characters that they killed off, which kind of felt like, I don't know, dumb, but they put her head through the slicer. The bread slicer? In the store. And that's iconic and stuff. But yeah,
because I thought they were going to stop it, right before, because they were in the process of doing it, and then just, I was like, oh.
Yeah, it really took you by surprise when they do that stuff. But out of all the actors from the first one, I probably like the black kid the best, I think he probably had the most charm.
Spoiler alert, by the way. I put it in the title. Talk about the whole movie.
Oh, yeah, we'll put it in the title or something. So yeah, I think that was pretty much a lot of people pointed out in the first one, which I thought was weird too, but I couldn't really put it into words. But for like the ending cliffhanger when the girl calls and she's like, "Hey, you're not gonna make it out of this one," even though she's calling and she's made it out of it for years, but she's telling them they're not gonna make it. Right? It's strange.
She said it doesn't end; it'll never stop, or I don't know.
Right, but it's like, well, I mean, clearly you're fine, so it can't be that bad, I think is what people were. It's just whatever. So then part two, so it's odd that the girl was alive and well. I put that. I like the music in this one again. Cherry Bomb, Nirvana songs. The actors are much better. The girl from
we're moving on to part two.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like. I'm not gonna say I really liked the second one, but it was my favorite. I would at least put it at a. It was good, but that's really all I can give it.
Yeah. Let's see. We had more pedophiles in this one because apparently you were pointing out like the counselor was like younger or older, and it's like you can't really have that dynamic.
Yeah, remember he was like they had put them all in the room. They're like, stay here. She was like, my sister's out there. And he's like, yeah, I'll go look for her. Don't worry. But you have to stay here. I can't let anything happen to you. They're all looking at him. And then that other guy's like, that's a camper, right? You're a counselor.
Yeah.
Like, he even
But
said
like the
it.
audience, yeah, like pointed out saying that stuff. Some more good kills. We had the axe split kill, like right through the head. You might not be able to remember specifically.
For that fat dude.
That's why we're down. Yeah. And then let's see. The nurse, I don't know this says nurse trying to kill the guy, and that way. Oh no, I know what it is. So there was something that was really dumb. So apparently, the nurse in the beginning realized that one of the characters, I can't remember which one, but the guy was about to go crazy.
Slater.
Yeah, realized that something was about to happen with him. So she goes out like in the middle of everybody looking crazy, like, oh, I'm gonna kill you, I'm gonna kill you. Like she wasn't mentally ill. She just was trying to prevent the same cycle, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, if you really wanted to prevent this, you should have went. There's no way you thought you were going to get away with this. He was pretty muscular. Right? He's a big guy. You're going to go up and just do it in broad daylight in front of everybody. There's no way you're getting away with it. Maybe you didn't care if you got away with it, but at least still sneak up on the dude, do something. That was so stupid to me. I thought it was like, unless she was like mentally ill, but I don't think so. She was in her right head, or at least tell him like, hey, listen, this is about to go down with this guy, but of course people probably don't listen to you. But there was a bunch of different avenues that she could have took other than just walking out like whipping knives out in the middle of the room, you know.
Maybe she just didn't know when it was going to happen. Like, it could have just happened like right then. Like, she didn't have time to, I don't know.
Even so, I mean, okay, so we'll move on from that one. The outhouse, like right on top of the cave, I thought was strange. Do they put outhouses on top of caves just like that, like on cave systems, you know? I don't know about that, because I thought the point of outhouses was they put them and then move them. So you can, but I guess maybe they just dug so deep into the ground where the cave was. I don't know. That was very strange how they conveniently were able to come up through but I guess it fit the things, whatever. I like the final thing here. Whenever what were they doing at the end where the guy with the sack on his head and the girl was like pounding on the door or something. Remember? I can't remember. It's been a while, but I put a note in here, but I can't remember. Yeah, in the second one. Yeah, unfortunately, a lot of the stuff I can't remember.
What, the Shining reference? What are you talking about?
Like I said, I don't remember.
I mean, what are you talking about that was special about it? For
the very last, fight where they were in the cabin, the guy was like, there was like a pounding. I don't know, there was a cut where they were pounding on the door, and then it cut to somebody else like pounding on the door or something like that. And I just like that cut. I remember, but I don't remember specifically what it was about. Okay, and so. This is probably another big point, but so you kept track of the plot more than I did. How did the girl at the end survive that stabbing? There was no magic there, was there?
He resuscitated her, but I don't know that resuscitation, that's what I was saying when we finished that movie, that CPR brings back somebody who's been stabbed to death.
No,
I thought that was like for heart attacks and drowning and.
Because you'd have to have the lungs like intact to be able to. But he definitely.
I mean, she got stabbed like 1,000 times, dude.
So we didn't find out later today there was any magic involved in that, and she just survived from that. That's absolutely, I couldn't
died
imagine
and came back to life.
Writing it and being like, oh yeah, they'll buy this one. They won't think too hard about it.
I don't know, maybe.
It just didn't look right.
Maybe that's something we should look up, but I don't think so. I don't think that's how that works.
I'm pretty sure in order for that to work, you have to like cover the holes, like where she was stabbed, right, in her lungs, because it had to hit her lungs. I'm pretty sure. I don't know, or they just went too violent with it, but the redheaded chick at the end shouldn't have survived the stabbing for sure. And then I did not even put notes for the third one because we just watched it last night, and I mean, listen, I don't want to be too hard on them overall. It sounds like it's just a big rant video. If you liked the genre of this, like she likes like slasher movies type deal, then you'll probably really love some stuff in these. Me personally, these kind of movies, like where they're kind of.
It says sometimes that the trauma from the stabbing can cause cardiac arrest. So maybe that's what happens. And she didn't technically die by bleeding out. She might have not gotten hit in any like major arteries, but the stabbing put her in a cardiac arrest.
She was even like sitting up talking after to the guy, wasn't she?
Yeah, she's like normal. It was just like
yeah, she would have been like out of it for a while. I would have thought.
But anyways, continue.
But no, if you I can understand how some people are into this kind of thing, these movies, and predisposition to already like them. I do not personally really have that predisposition too much. The only thing that I've kind of liked a lot towards like some genre like this would be like Ash vs. Evil Dead, you know. But it's just not really my cup of tea. You know, I like horror movies, but I don't know, the slasher type genre, it's never been for me.
No.
But even her, who it is for her, she's not the biggest fan either, right?
No.
So,
I'm sorry.
yeah, so it does have some cool vibes in that.
But the last
and
one...
I could see how you could love it, but for us, it wasn't really the majority for us, right?
No.
Now the last one, so like I said, I didn't take any notes. I thought about just leaving one note that said trash. I mean, we didn't really keep up with the plot too well, and it's tough to whenever you have something that kind of comes out week to week, right? I feel as long drawn out as something like a movie, where it's important to remember the details, But so starting off, the gay thing, it seems a little pretty silly, how that it's a real mind fuck, right? It's a real mind fuck because so the actors are playing. It's the same actors from the previous two movies, but they're not them. She just sees them as them, right? As what they look like. Because I understand like the anthology type thing, like how American Horror Story does it, and it works. But this isn't that because so the sheriff in the first movie is the same guy from the past or a relative of him.
Relative.
Right? It's a relative.
Mm-hmm.
But then, so that explains why he looks the same. But then why do the others look the same? Are they relatives too? Like, they should have just, I feel like it was just kind of cheap so they could either bring the actors back or they didn't have to hire new ones. And then it's also like another, so gay people, I'm sure they're a very small percentage of the population overall, right? So it just feels a little bit, again, too coincidental that they're also gay in the past. These two characters, I would have liked it one way or the other way, but the fact that it's that way too, unless I'm missing something and it actually was them, like reincarnated or something, that just I cannot fathom it. I can't piece it together to where it would make sense where a professional writer wrote this down. I was like, yeah, this is all right, yeah, this is good. And especially for that time period. I mean, I know there were gay people back then, of course, but it's just like she said, for them to be so open about it and everything. And I would think being gay back then more was like, listen, I want to be gay. I want to suck this dude off or whatever. But there's no way I'm going to do it because if I get caught, I will get killed, right? I will get killed. Like now, you get caught and people some people will shit on you for it, unfortunately, and things like that. But back then it was a death sentence, right? So I don't think they would really do what they were doing in this movie, right? A lot of the things. And then the accents, we kept pointing out, it sounded strange, like an Irish accent. I know they had an accent back then, but it just didn't sound like, it just sounded silly, right? I would almost prefer, like, since they were cutting so many corners on what I would think was historical accuracy, just forget the accent.
And the party scene. The party scene where they were like all drinking and making out by the campfire. I was like, what is this? I am pretty sure they didn't do this back then. I didn't live there. We're not historians, but I was just like, this is literally the same thing that you would see now, but they're wearing 60s clothes.
Yeah, it's such a shame because the set design and everything, all of that was really cool for that time period. It just easily is, but then the shit that they were doing, the way that they were acting, they make, I'm sorry, it's very 2020, and in moderation it's okay, and in some cases it's definitely alright. But this one has some very 2020 stuff in it, of course, as this whole thing does, or 2021, however you want to say it, just getting with the times, like, the male character in there, he had to be a rapist, he had to be bad, raping, picking on these, lesbian girls. There was one scene in there also, too, like, I'm not very, see sex scenes just for the sake of, sex scenes, where I'm like, oh, it didn't really need to happen. In some cases, it is what it is, not really bother me. She doesn't really like him at all, but for me, there was a sex scene where, after the party, I think the two girls go into the woods and start having, doing sex stuff, and I guess it fit the plot, because they got caught or something, or somebody was watching them, but still, it's just I feel like there's somewhere else we could go in this movie other than just, this right now, right? I feel like we could be seeing something else, this is the start of the movie, and it was just already, gay, it was so gay, right? And that's okay, I know that sounds offensive, but it's just it's too much, right? I
mean, yeah, this movie's heavily for the gays. I've seen so many YouTube videos where people talk about they don't like scary movies, but they watch this specifically for the gays.
Yeah,
no issues against gays, but it was just does this really help the story? The fact, like we said in the beginning, they could have been gay and we wouldn't have seen it twice, but the fact that they just kept going and hey, they're gay, and hey, they're gay, and hey, they're gay, and hey, they're getting shit on for being gay. Yeah.
So we were like... And this stuff, I mean, this whole... I don't know what... I guess it appeals to some people, right? But also, I mean, there's even some gay people. You know, I have a friend, and I've talked to him about this stuff. You know, and he's gay, and he's like, yeah, it's stupid how much it's all just forced in there. And I'm like, well, yeah, okay, it's just if everybody sees it, then why are we doing it more and more? You know, or more people see it, but whatever. And there was one scene here I would love to either put it in here, or I know somebody's going to edit over it and do this.
Oh, the video game one?
It was dead ass, yeah, a scene out of a video game. No drawbacks on it.
She might as well have been in a box like a snake. What's his name?
Snake?
What the fuck is that game called?
I don't know,
He gets in a box
but anyway, it was so Assassin's Creed. She's crouched over in the brush. She throws like a rock or something on a bucket, doesn't she? I'm trying to remember. I just didn't remember it correctly.
She threw a rock at a bucket.
It makes a noise. The bucket makes a noise. The guy walks over to it. He's like, you know, how you hear in the video. I'm like, oh, what's that? And he walks over to the bucket and just looks at it. And you see her in the background sneak behind him. Dumbest shit I've ever seen. It's dumb when you do it in video games, right? Of course it is, but you know, it's just the way you gotta play. But for seeing it live action on TV, I was like, oh my god, that was the laziest way to get her in there. It's like somebody just was like, played a video game and was like, okay, well, that, oh god, it was so horrible. So horrible. One of the worst things I've probably seen in a movie, actually, come to think of it. It was so dumb. Like, it was almost comedic. Like I say, you see in the background. Like, you can put audio effects over it. Like Skyrim audio or something where the guy's like, oh, something over there.
You do it.
Is someone there? Yeah, I might at the end of this video. I very well might, just because or somebody else will. Like I said, there's no way. So then I'm trying to think. I mean, what else? So then they do a part 2, which is strange. It's like, why?
Metal Gear Solid. That was the game I was thinking about. Company crawls around in a box.
Snake. Yeah, I haven't played this, but so they do a part 2 for part 1 within
1984 part 2.
Although it's like, it confuses me because why wouldn't you have done like in the second one? Why wouldn't you have called part 2 for that? Because in the first part of part 2, they have scenes that are from part 1. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it was so strange.
Because at the end they go back to part 1 where she's with the girl. Because that was her telling the story of what happened to her at the camp, and then it's the twist that she was actually the younger girl. We thought she was the older one the whole time.
So why does that technically count for part 2 now? You know, I don't know, whatever. But it does. So in part 2, you know, I was basically damn near asleep by this time. I mean, I was like checked out. I was like, yeah, this isn't going anywhere better for me. So maybe it's unfair for me really to review the rest because, like I said, I was in and out. I do know there was one scene that I really thought was dumb where the black guy, it was kind of funny where he's like, yeah, let's go kill the cop or whatever. But again, very 2020 where the cop comes and, you know, the black guy's like all scared, like, oh yeah.
Oh yeah, he's like, they go pick him up. He's like, hey, you want to go help kill Sheriff, whatever his name is, Good, Sheriff Good? He's like, let me get my coat. Like, he just doesn't even question it.
Cops are bad. I mean, some are, but still, it was just like, this is just too woke, I guess, just a little bit. So yeah, they have a final battle in the mall, right? I guess it's fine, start where it began, but by this point, I really didn't care. There were just too many problems.
But the hand was under the tree. Like, how do you build a whole mall around a tree and not dig anything around?
Yeah, that as well. And then the last shot, the establishing shot, or the shot that I woke up at, right? Because I had pretty much dozed off by this point, because there was nothing really that was going to save it. At least maybe there was. I don't think so. But the pan-up shot, it just looked weird to me. So they had the Burger King, I'm pretty sure. I'll go back and look, but I'm pretty sure they had a Burger King bag and Burger King cups. You know, I remember you were out of that point too. But were they sponsored by Burger King or something? Because I know shows and their movies and a lot of times will just do that. I mean, not always, right? But sometimes stuff will just appear. But that just seemed very out of place for like the final shot of a movie that you want to look good, you want it to look pretty. Same with the opening shot, and they just had like a bag of fucking Burger King right there. It felt like a Burger King ad, right? It was like, what's going on here? So yeah, it all comes back to gay, right? It all comes back to gay. It was, you know, it all started because they were gay and people took issue with it back then, right? So
we didn't understand the blood thing either. Like, they were after somebody, but you could like completely disregarding and chasing the person if you had their blood splattered somewhere. Like, they were after Dina because she had seen the witch. Remember, she put the hand on the thing and she had seen everything from part 2. Yeah. That was her seeing everything.
Yeah.
but they had figured out that if you use the blood, you can bait them to go attack each other. They were fighting each other at one point, or somebody else with the blood on them, or just leave them like they smelt it. But they could smell the blood out instead of just smelling her as a person. I don't know. I didn't understand it. But it was interesting, but it was just questioning, like,
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff with this. The biggest thing that I can say positive about it, apart from the music, would be the kill. I guess we said the gore and the kills are really good. Like the scene I'm thinking in the third one, where the people didn't have any eyes. If you really think back about it, how did he get them all to sit still and he took out their eyes? It doesn't really.
Yeah,
I don't know what happened there. Maybe I missed something, but again, I don't think so. But it was a cool visual, right? It's cool. A lot of it. I'm trying to think. There was actually a lot of gore in the last one. I like, the pigs like getting killed, the dead pigs and stuff. That was really dark, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they had some dark stuff in there and kills and stuff for sure. Easily the one of the things that they probably did, not even just okay, but probably better than a lot of things I saw with the gore.
The twist at the end was okay too. I mean, I kind of called it somewhat from the beginning, from about the middle of the movie. That from how we were watching, I was like, it wasn't Sarah. I can already tell you it wasn't Sarah.
Yeah.
Or how she was saying like, oh, they thought we did it, so let's just go make a deal with the devil because we're gay. Remember?
That was so stupid as well, because it's like what? I mean, I guess that's what they had to do to save their lives. But again, if you're whoever's making this, I imagine like you're very like, wanting the gays to look in the best light as possible. Which I'm not saying that they're not, but you know what I mean, like. And to do that, like, okay, they're going to go make a deal with Satan to kind of justify, like, what everybody says, like, gay is like a sin and all that. Well, look at them. They're being sinners. They're going to Satan. We turn them to Satan, It's just like, it was very strange. But yeah, that's again what I'm saying. It's very, like, 2020 or whatever, just woke to me, where it wasn't the female, the witch, it wasn't her. It was actually the dude all along, right? It was him. And, if it wasn't so oversaturated in all the stuff that we watch now and getting into stuff, of course, I wouldn't take issue with her. It just wouldn't feel so forced, but it just does, right? And something I'm thinking, just overall, with this topic, where do you stop if you try to be so diverse that you got to hit these checks and everything, like where do you stop? Like, does this movie become offensive because it doesn't have Chinese people, it doesn't have Indian people, it doesn't have Native American people? It's offensive, because it doesn't.
Yeah, we didn't understand about not trying to be racist, Torian's black, but like the black girl in the 1600s, we were like, were there black? Did they accept black people back then? I don't know. We just had a lot of questions.
But it's so, like she said, 75% bad. I mean, I don't want to seem like Nirvana put us up to a chore or anything. I mean, I did it, and
I enjoyed watching it and criticizing it. It wasn't like
gave me something to
there
watch.
There are things that I've watched that I just don't want to finish, like American Horror Story.
Unfortunately, the 1994 season, which was kind of in the genre of like the second movie of this,
right?
For sure.
And I thought. I don't want to say that the whole camp murder thing, Friday the 13th, is cheesy, but it is. But they did it, I think they did it way better in this movie than they did in American Horror Story. And American Horror Story is something that you can't pay me to sit through and fucking watch that. I don't want to watch it. But I didn't really feel that way with these movies. I was just kind of like, laughing, I guess, in sometimes. I enjoyed the second one, but the first one, not so much. And the third one, I really didn't enjoy it. So,
right. So
I appreciated the answered questions, sure. But the
overall,
the acting,
the stuff that was bad is just not enough to really make it something that you enjoyed or wanted to watch. I mean, like you said, something to pick apart, right? But I know everybody doesn't feel that way. So if you liked it, or if you have to critique some of our points, that's completely okay. I'm fine with that.
Or put us in our place by telling us, what was actually in the books, because we didn't read the books. So, maybe we're missing something.
Well. Apparently they had something like an after credit story that teases like maybe there would be more. I thought I saw, but again, I didn't really care enough once it came down to the end of it. But yeah, it's okay. Go ahead and recommend us more stuff to watch if you have something. And I guess that's about all I got to say for this one, right? I think we covered all of it.
I have one more thing to say. I don't want people in the comments saying that they liked it because it was a nostalgia trip, because I can see it and I can't see it. For example, the Scary Stories to Tumble in the Dark movie. Loved the books, read them all the time. Hated the fucking movie. I was so excited for it to come out. I thought, maybe I would like it no matter what, just because I spent a lot of time reading them. when I was younger, but I hated the movie. I thought it was
Still do it bad, even so.
right. I thought the special effects and the practical effects were good, but the whole plot of I don't know. I just thought it could have been easily done as somebody just reading the book to the babysitter reading the book to the kid they're watching, and then just seeing it in a live action. It could have been very simple and easily well done, but I didn't like it, so I don't. I'm just saying the nostalgia point for some people it wouldn't work for me because I can testify that I've been on the same side of that where I would have the nostalgia feeling for it and I still didn't like it. So
These are by Arlstein, actually. I really like the Goosebumps books. He's the same guy who did those, and I liked those a lot as a kid. And they've made some, live actions of his books. But if this was what the book was, buddy, I doubt it was. I think they changed a lot, for this day and time. But yeah, no, he can make some good stuff, at least to my memory as a kid, right? Watching it back now, maybe not. But she was saying, don't say this and that, or whatever in the comments. Don't call us homophobes and racists as well, or whatever it is, because it's tough to talk about this stuff, right? Some of the stuff we said in this video, but it's just really not the case with us, right? I think we're on the point where it's okay to have frustrations with some of this and not
I
be
think
like
we were
racist
just trying to be
right?
accurate in the timeline, and a lot of it we just didn't know or didn't think that it felt right, I guess.
Yeah,
and the whole gay
line.
thing wouldn't have been an issue for us had they not just tried so hard with it. Like, had it just been like, yeah, Dina broke up with her girlfriend and now she's upset about it because you seen she was super like depressed at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Had they just said like she broke up with her girlfriend, she's depressed, we'd be like, oh, okay, whatever. Mm-hmm. But the fact that they just drug it out as if it was its own plot, it really wasn't a plot that you're gay. Like, it's just, I mean,
that's right. That's a good way to put it, right? It's not a plot. It's a part of the character.
Right.
I watched a show, it's called Preacher, and they did it in an example where I can say, well, so they changed one of the leads from the book. It was based on a book. They changed her from from white to black. And in the show, it never comes up as a plot line, like she said, a plot where she's black, because she gets pulled over by a cop at one point in the show, and she talks her way out of it in a way like, oh yeah, I used to be an army vet or whatever. But black never comes into play with her character. I don't think at one time they acknowledged in any kind of way that she's black. She just was, and I could care less at that point, right? But with this, whenever it becomes such a heavy plot point, is where it's just like, I see what you're doing, and you're not fooling me. I'm not with it. It's frustrating, but
right. Like, if she wasn't gay in the books and they made her gay, they could have just done it and not made a big deal about it, because at that point you have the freedom to do what you want with the movie as long as the character fits. I mean, there's just an extra little relationship entanglement going on, but it's not a plot in itself. It just was in the first and the third movie, not so much in the second one because we didn't really see them a whole bunch, but in the first and the third movie it was just like, what?
Yeah, you get the whole generic, her mom's like not with it, and then when she's kissing her, I'm gonna do it anyway, fuck you, mom, watch me, It's just it just really drug it down for me, but no. So anyway, I think we've covered it. Don't want to backtrack too much, but feel free to, like I said, recommend some other stuff. We got some other reviews coming out and just videos and that. So yeah, I'm gonna go try to hopefully find the clip that I can edit where she does the whole Assassin's Creed thing. I mean, I can't even fathom that it made the cut, right? Because it's crazy. I've talked about this before. People go to writing school and stuff like this. I'm not saying that I could sit down and write the plot of a TV show, because it's a lot of different things that you have to web in, or TV show or movie, right? But still, it's still apparent to me, and I don't know how it's not apparent to other people that have been to school for this stuff and get paid for it,
like,
right?
Who
That this is
proofread
bad.
that and was like,
this
yeah,
is
this is good.
Yeah, I mean, or maybe you write it, right? But then when you see it on screen, you're like, yeah, we should cut that. That should have been
right.
cut. But again, it's like so bad. It's almost like I'm kind of glad it was in there, because one of those same things is so bad. It's like you got to see it to even fucking believe it, right?
Like, it would have made more sense for her to find her way into the church, like underneath in those caves, just like, take the thing out, like, hey, she just was there to talk to her anyway, or break her out or whatever. But to choose the stealth way of the mission.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. So anyway, thank you for watching, guys, and we'll see you in the next one. I know Bernie, if you're watching, I know you'll definitely want to see her in the next one. So maybe.